So, hi everyone. I just wanted to send you all a message to anyone who's thinking about perhaps enrolling in the ANS program. And I'm just going to tell you a little bit about how I recovered after having chronic fatigue syndrome for 3 years. So, my name is Saffron, and I'm currently living in Melbourne, Australia, and I'm a uni student. I just started this year, and I mostly had my chronic fatigue syndrome across the end of high school. So originally in May 2018, I actually developed glandular fever. And after recovering, this then later on developed into chronic fatigue syndrome for about July, August of 2018. So I was then sick with chronic fatigue syndrome for about 2.5 years, and I had a range of symptoms, as I'm sure a lot of people watching this video do. My main one was fatigue, obviously, but also headaches. They were probably about equal in the fatigue, and they both really made an impact on my day-to-day life, and I couldn't do many things that other people could, including going to school every day. That was a big struggle, especially trying to complete year 11 and 12. Other than that, I also had brain fog, which interrupted a lot of my assessments and tests. And I also had muscle pain, specifically in my legs, as well as restless legs, nausea, and a bunch of other symptoms. All of these factors made it really hard for me to go to school every day. And often at the start, I didn't even understand what was wrong with me or how to manage my health at all. And neither did teachers or anyone at school. So it was very poorly managed. And I ended up just struggling to get to school every day and doing assessments days later than everyone else. And then in the end, I actually ended up doing my year 12 across 2 years and changing schools in the second year to a place that supported me better with my illness. So I first started the ANS Rewire program in July 2020. And right before this, I'd had a pretty big crash. So I was pretty much bedbound for about 4 weeks before starting the program. And I'd kind of reached a really low point. I thought, like, if I can't live like this forever, this isn't much of a life to just spend lying on the sofa or in bed feeling ill all day. And I really felt like I had nothing to lose at this point. And a couple of months earlier, I had heard about an ANSRY program. I didn't know anything about it. I hadn't looked it up. I just sort of heard about it. And so at this point, I actually looked it up and I tried the first 3 videos to see what I thought about it. Previous to starting the ANSRY program, I really hadn't done much to try and combat my chronic fatigue syndrome. Doctors could barely even diagnose my chronic fatigue syndrome for years. I only actually got a diagnosis in March 2020, but I pretty much knew before then what I had because I'd been doing a lot of my own research. And the only things I'd really tried was I'd tried pacing techniques, and these were okay sometimes to manage, but it was just a lot of effort for someone who's already sick and doesn't have much energy. Spending then that energy trying to like organize my life and pace every single activity was a lot of effort involved in that, and the results weren't amazing. I also saw a naturopath pretty much since I had glandular fever, and I can't really say if seeing the naturopath actually did help or not. I'm not quite sure, but I'd just been seeing the naturopath for a few years at this point. I pretty much didn't have any hesitations in signing up to the ANS Rewire program. At the time, I remember thinking it was like a little bit expensive, but I felt for what you got in the program, that was actually a pretty reasonable price. And of course, now that I'm recovered, like I truly think any price is worthwhile to get my health back. And I'd also listened to other people's testimonials and read reviews about the ANSRY program before enrolling, and they all seemed to really support the program. And I felt like I had nothing to lose again. So I thought, why not? And I just signed up in July 2020. So just a couple of months after signing up to the ANSRY program, I pretty much went from being bedbound all day to being maybe 40 or 50% recovered, which was pretty crazy. And just 3 or 4 months after starting the program, I was back to taking dance classes and attending online school, which I hadn't been able to do for a while up until then. So that was really exciting. And then just 5 months after starting the program and first enrolling, I was actually pretty much fully recovered, which I never thought would happen. I'd actually thought that I would probably just be sick for like the rest of my life, or at least for a good lengthy time. I hadn't made any plans really for like my future. I'd pretty much decided I didn't want to go to university after school or anything because I had such a hard time getting through high school that I didn't want to have to do all of that again with uni. And yeah, so just 5 months after starting the program, I was actually fully recovered, which still just seems insane to me. And so pretty much now being fully recovered, I've just started university. I'm in my 5th week of uni. I'm attending uni like everyone else. I'm handing in my assessments on time. I don't have to ask for extensions. I don't have to miss classes and try and catch up like I did for years. I'm also back to doing a lot of exercising and dancing like how I was before I was really sick. I'm really into dancing, so I do dance a couple of nights a week. I've also started a new sport. I've started figure skating. So it's exciting to be able to try new things and not have to worry. It's a really nice feeling. So at first, when I started the ANSRI program, I found it really, really hard. I found all the thought rewiring and all that sort of process really hard, and I would sometimes get frustrated at myself, and it kind of seemed like it wouldn't work. I thought like surely just rewiring thoughts and integrating all these other techniques won't actually do anything. But I persevered, even though it was hard. And eventually, after like a month, rewiring thoughts just became like that easy. I could do it in a second. And now it's just ingrained, I feel. And as I stuck to the program and I just kept working at it, it got easier and easier as I went, which was really nice. And then also, I steadily recovered throughout that time, which gave me more and more motivation to just stick to the program. Now that I'm fully recovered, I feel like I'm really living my life to the full again, and it's really exciting to know that I have a lot ahead of me and a lot of opportunities that I can now take and not have to worry about all the consequences that I often did worry about when I was sick. Although I do feel like I've remembered a lot of the lessons that I learned from when I was sick, because of course, with any adversity, you can always take lessons from it. And I am definitely not the person I was before I was sick again, because I recognize that some of the unhealthy activities I did before I was ill, such as pushing myself too hard, too much. And I've definitely learned from that. But now I'm moving on from my illness, and I'm no longer it's no longer a part of me, which is really wonderful. And so I'd like to say a big thank you to Dan and the NSRI team, because it's really changed my life around to recover again, and I never thought I'd reach this point. So if you're thinking about signing up, at least watch the first 3 videos, definitely, and watch reviews or whatever until you decide whether it's for you or not. But I definitely think if you're sick, there's nothing to lose by just giving it a try, giving it your all, and the results, they're pretty crazy. And the last message I just want to say to you all is keep persevering and make sure you have hope, because I believe that you can recover, and it's really up to you. Have hope, have belief that you'll recover, set recovery goals and keep persevering. And yeah, I know that you can get there. So all the best with your recovery journey ahead.